listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Morning, Jim.
Morning.
Morning, Peter.
Morning, Richie.
I just raised my seat to create a bit more eye contact with my radio colleagues there. I was feeling like the seat was too low. And
I like to think that when you look at me, it's icon tact.
Yeah, that was how I was spelling it.
Yeah.
That's not what I said.
Obviously, the tact. When I got to tact, I thought, not so relevant. But first bit, I was pleased with. But starting well. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Happy. Is there something happening?
What is it?
Saturday.
Happy Saturday, guys.
And you.
Happy Post All Souls Day.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Postal Souls, did you say? Anyone in the post office, congratulations.
Yeah. Doing a great job.
They are.
Kind of.
It's easier than it was, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, there used to be so many letters, but now people just,
we were so dependent on them now.
These are mails.
Then, now we've got other means.
Do you think there's anyone in the world that thinks they're called mails and has never heard anything to the contrary?
Oh, maybe.
If you're that person, 81215. It was Halloween, of course, as you suggest, this week, and which is a big deal in our house.
Is it?
Oh. My 5-year-old son puts the decorations up, I'd say, end of September.
Does he?
And they grow. Every time I come in, there's a new big spider or... we went out and did the pumpkin thing. But the thing is the trick-or-treating.
What did he dress up as then?
Well, we both dressed as Kylo Ren.
What's Kylo Ren?
Kylo Ren is...
Star Wars.
The son of... perhaps I better not say this in case people haven't seen The Force Awakens. Okay. Anyway, he's the new bad guy in Star Wars.
Okay.
And we both dressed in the same outfit.
Like a couple's costume. I like that.
Father and son.
I like it.
I like to think of him as next Ren.
Nice.
For new readers, Chris Eubank calls his son Next Gen, so... just a little footnote there for you. You can laugh and leave a space for you to laugh now at that joke. Okay, one thing I did, I got into my Kylo Ren outfit and sneezed quite heavily with the mask on.
Oh, yeah.
It never occurred to me that is, for the next hour, it's like I had half a pound of liver on my face from this clammy...
Oh, dear.
And I thought, remember I said to you recently, they try to go for reality in films, but no one ever sneezes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unless it's a big plot point. And I thought, he never sneezes in The Force Awakens.
No.
He never says, I will get that girl and that droid, all right. Oh, it's gone. Get that girl and that... never happens.
Might in the blooper reel.
Oh, I hope so.
He might get a frog in his throat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happened. We went to David Baddiel's house, which is on my road.
To trick or treat.
Oh, I see. So I saw you both later, which we'll get to. But you had a whole other Halloween going on beforehand, which I quite like.
Yeah, my Halloween starts at about 5:30.
Yeah, it's like the Oscars for you.
Yeah, so so we went... we knocked on Dave's door, and his partner, the lovely Milwena Banks, came out. But, of course, we were both Kylo Ren. So it was an interesting opportunity to find out if one of your friends who's nice to you is also nice to strangers.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Very good undercover work.
Yeah.
Turns out I thought she's a little bit nicer.
Oh, really?
There's less baggage.
Did he say hello and give you some sweets?
I'll tell you what. No, it was Milwena who came to the door. No,
yeah.
But I tell you what was brilliant. There's a John Wayne spoken word album. You probably know it.
Sure.
And there's a thing about Republic, it's called, and it's John Wayne talking about how it's music. Everything is music. And John Wayne talking over the top of it. It's a brilliant album. There's a bit called The Hyphen. There's a track called The Hyphen. When he says, there's a little thing called The Hyphen. that's caused a hell of a lot of trouble in this world. And I thought, this is John Wayne getting heavy on grammar. And then you realise there's no such thing as a Spanish American or a Chinese American. There's just an American. That's his anti-hyphen thing. Anyway, he talks about the word republic, and he says, when I hear the word republic, I feel like a man feels when he watches his son shave for the first time.
Brilliant.
Oh, I miss John Wayne, I have to say. And I felt a bit like that because Morwenna was giving Buzz the sweets and all that.
Yeah.
And he realised that our masks had fooled her. And it was the first time, for the very first time, and it was a special moment for me. The first time Buzz said, "Do you know who I am?" Oh, so proud.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, 511, post office does not deliver mail. That is Royal Mail. And they put a kiss afterwards. Thanks for the kiss,
Wow.
Mr. Passag.
The post...
Or Mrs.
Oh, Mrs.
The post
More likely to
office
be Mrs.
doesn't deliver mail.
Doesn't.
The Royal Mail. Are they two separate companies that work together and share a surname by great coincidence?
That as... she was a nice woman, that Sarah Sherman. Remember her?
Well, it's both male, essentially.
Post office surname isn't male, though, is it?
I'm not saying it's the exact same surname. I'm just saying they share... They do that job, don't they?
I think post office is the place where they have the counters and you can get your forms and
I see.
do all that stuff.
All right,
So
boyfriend of 511.
Yeah.
No, but I'm genuinely shocked by that. So the post office doesn't deliver mail. You could knock me down with... who?
Right.
Can't think. There's no big celebrities that you can mention anymore without putting your career on the line.
That's true, yeah.
So I'm going to say with a feather.
Yeah.
With Barry McGuigan.
That's what's happened to comedy.
Enter the world of cliche.
That's what's happened to
comedy.
Okay. So yes, we both went as Kylo Ren on the things.
Yeah.
Well done.
And interesting for me, of course, not only were we not recognised by friends, we weren't recognised by anyone. So no one came up to me in the street. I was just some bloke dressed as Kylo Ren.
How was that for you?
I hated it.
Yeah, I thought you might.
I couldn't live like that again.
Couldn't you?
No.
You need the cloak of celebrity.
And I don't so much want a cloak as
You had one that night.
as a lighting rack. No, I don't want to be. Don't make me go back there, as I think they say in When Harry Met Sally. No, I didn't like that at all. I'll tell you what I did like. You know, when I latch on to a gag that delights me, I will say it 100 times.
Yeah, I think we know that.
Oh, yes.
Boz is dairy free at the moment.
Right.
And so it's a slight problem trick-or-treating because you can't have chocolate. So he's very good. People bring out a bowl of sweets and he was picking his way through, finding like Haribos and stuff.
Yeah.
And
okay.
on there, clever.
Yeah.
But it was quite it's quite gloomy on our road.
Right.
When you get to the top end of our road, it's quite and I must have said 20 times in my Kylo Ren actually, it's a little bit on the dark side. And I just kept saying that. It's difficult to hear because it's a bit on the dark side. It gave me such...
Oh, yeah, that's...
I like the idea of
Such
Kylo Ren
pleasure.
being dairy-free as well.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
When a Star Wars character is dairy-free.
Well, I imagine he's quite anal, quite
Right.
strict
Yeah.
and a bit of a control freak.
Okay,
Kylo
yeah.
Ren. I don't think that'd be overstating in
Yeah.
my case. But perhaps the roundup to this story is I took Buzz to school the next morning and there was still a few pumpkins and stuff about outside houses.
Yeah.
And he said to me, it's interesting, he said, it's over now, Halloween, he said, for another year, but I can still feel the terror.
Oh.
Lovely.
Oh.
Oh, I love a bit of post-fear residual.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I got to see Frank's costume.
What, for the party?
Yeah,
The
but
showbiz party?
we
that
went
guys
to
go
Jonathan Ross's Halloween party, and I've got to say, I mean, he walked in and Kath said, have you seen Frank? And he had a black wig on and a sort of pantsuit, essentially. I mean, it was quite Leslie Joseph. And then Jonathan Ross said he looks like you in 5 years. But he was carrying one little detail he's left out.
Ah, yes. Well, I know I didn't take that on the trick or treat.
That was best. He brought a Lilo.
No. So hang on. Black wig.
He was Kylo Ren, but he was carrying a Lilo.
What, like Lilo Ren?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
I'm afraid.
I'm afraid I did that pun.
Well
Visual
done.
pun.
David Baddiel came up to me and said, "Has Frank Skinner come as a pun?"
Yes.
So what? A pun?
As a pun.
I was a pun.
It was a pun.
I did come as a... And I was trapped in that pun all night, of course. It's a big thing to carry around.
A Lilo.
I think you carried it off, though, Frank.
Well, at least it was quite light. I was so glad I hadn't filled it with a bread dough, which was my initial thought.
Yeah.
But, yes, I thought this will be funny. The thing is, I've got the most fabulous Kylo Ren lightsaber at home.
Oh.
Have you?
And Buzz said to me, you can take my lightsaber tonight. I said, no, it's all right, I've got something sorted. He was a bit
Take
I've
offended.
the
got
Lilo.
something. Did you say I've got something pretty special up my
I
sleeve?
thought this will bring the house down. And,
dear.
Well, it made me laugh.
well, a lot of people come up to me and said, why has Darth Vader got a Lilo? Because they didn't even know who Kylo Ren was, a bit like Alan Cochrane didn't when I mentioned him.
Yeah, I don't.
So,
Really?
I mean, that would be, if there's anyone listening who's writing the next Star Wars film, I think that would be a good angle. Kylo Ren getting mistaken, annoyingly, in it, getting, Darth Vader. No, actually, I'm not Darth. No, I know Darth Vader. I like the refurb. No, I'm not actually. Oh, the chest cleared up. No, it's not me. I think that would be a great little scene in it.
Oh, I thought you were about to pitch to the Star Wars people that they
Why
should
have you
have
started saying Star Wars?
Because I'm
as
talking
well?
to Frank. Got to speak his
What
language.
do you say?
Star Wars.
Well, you
Okay.
said, what do
Star
you
Wars.
say? It's what it is.
I thought you were going to pitch the idea that they should have Kylo Ren carrying a Lilo for the whole film.
That'd be ridiculous.
It was red. What I
The
liked
red
about it, well, it was red, and it was like, you know, when you go through those seaside towns and they're outside, it's the merch that's outside.
Yeah, exactly.
It was one of those. It wasn't like some big flashy one that
No
Taylor
expense
Swift would
spared.
have.
Well, I went for red because his lightsaber is red.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was good.
So, yeah,
I thought you'd
about
gone
that.
for red so that if people said, who are you here as, you could go, Kylo Red. Oh, no, hang on. Lilo Ren.
Yeah, well,
Did a double confusion.
I'm afraid I didn't get that good.
That could have been part
Yeah.
of your patter other than the
Yeah,
dark side.
I just thought everybody knew Kylo Ren. I mean, come on, people. This was a media party. They didn't know Kylo Ren.
Media party.
True.
And then Danny Baker said to me,
Who was he as? He always comes as a cardinal or something.
yeah, he was a cardinal. He said to me, you know what? That really suits you.
Do you know it did?
And I thought, so this is my look now, sort of
Yeah.
monk, black
Well,
monk outfit with tights.
I think I pointed out to you, Frank, why you looked good in that. Since you've gone fashion thin, you looked quite on the catwalk. You didn't look like bloke in fancy dress outfits.
Right.
You looked a bit Lagerfeld. I liked it.
Yes. I've gone from Lagerlaut to Lagerfeld in 20 years, 20 long years.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
I once went to the, who's famous fashion person? Versace.
Oh,
I once
lovely.
went to the Versace shop in Milan
Okay.
and tried on a pair of black leather dungarees with no intention of purchase. Just to see how that would be. And it really was quite a thing. They were quite wide at the side. There's an element of, for our older listeners, give me that ding. And it was like a clown. Like if you could imagine a sort of S&M clown,
Yeah,
I suppose.
and I can.
All I need is the mirror. But yeah, I went in with no intention of purchase at all. I just
Yeah.
thought, I wonder what they would look like on me.
Yeah,
I
And
wish
it was,
you'd got them.
yeah.
I do as well.
So maybe my look is some sort of real avant-garde fashionista look, but I mean, I couldn't have carried that off in Smethwick.
You just look quite high fashion.
Yeah,
With the boots, it was working for me.
funny old world, isn't it?
Innit?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So yeah, I went as Maleficent, so I had giant horns.
Okay.
Yeah. And a cloak with a purple satin lining.
Nice.
Yeah. Quite goth. There was Alan Carr went as the JC.
Oh, he did.
Did
He
he?
went as Gemma Collins.
Yeah, he did.
Did he get a tenner for turning up?
Excellent. And then I had a bit of an embarrassing thing where, well, I had a lot of embarrassing things. This was me after all. But I had a moment where I was chatting to Dynamo, as one does.
Now, Dynamo would be rubbish at trick or treating
Why?
because no one would give him a treat, would they?
Yeah, they want a trick.
They'd want the trick, definitely.
Oh, that's
No, it'd be a nightmare. He'd come back. No wonder he's thin.
There's no
Can't get any sweets.
Yeah.
And he's there just working away, doing the tricks all night, thinking, I don't know why I'll go trick and treating every year.
See, I've got mixed feelings about Dynamo because you told me that you saw him at an event and he didn't do any magic, and
He
then
did.
but then you told me that you saw him at another one and he did loads of brilliant magic.
Yeah.
So he doesn't fit the mould for the normal magician.
He didn't do any magic for me at the Halloween party.
Really?
Said
Oh, give
hello
him a
and then-
night off, for goodness sake.
Oh, I think that's great.
Come
but
on,
that is not.
magicians.
That is not.
Do I
how
get a night
magicians
off from
normally
being
behave.
funny? No.
Well, I
8,
thought
12, 15.
I thought Louis
I get the
Theroux.
odd morning off, but I mean,
I saw Louis Theroux there, and I thought he should have made more of an effort because he just had like a black tie on and a jacket. And I saw him from afar over at the other end of the bar, and he was with Dynamo. He was talking to Dynamo. And I went to speak to Connie, and I said, Louis Theroux, he's over there. I've seen him. I spoke to Charlie Booker. He said, I didn't know he was here. I said, he is. I said, he's just got a suit on. And then I didn't realise it was a cardboard cutout that was chained to Dynamo. That was part of his costume. So I went round basically criticising him for his lack of effort the whole night. Did you spot the cutout, Frank?
no.
Okay.
I spoke to it for 20 minutes.
Oh no.
But
I
from
was
afar,
fascinating as well. What a waste.
Were you thinking Louis Theroux's not asking as many questions as usual?
Well, it's always, it's always a quite
it
understated.
looked so good.
Really?
Yes.
So he brought Louis Theroux. He brought a
Yeah.
fake-
What was the costume that it included a full length Louis Theroux?
Well, Dynamo was dressed in an orange boiler suit, wasn't he? And he was
Oh.
chained to it, so possibly it was to do with the kind of work he does.
Oh, I
like
see.
Perhaps, yeah.
You know, he goes into places and interviews
Oh, he goes
Exactly.
into places. We all do.
prisons. Maybe it was Gitmo, as they say.
What about I made Frank a cup of tea, didn't I?
Did you?
Every year, 11 o'clock.
You do seem to. That's the story every year.
Yeah.
It was a great party for refreshments. I tell you what,
Was it?
my first ever, I had.
That's something only non-drinkers would say, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody would drink like 8 beers and then get a really good party for refreshments last night.
That's because they're
And
not
8
refreshing,
beers.
are they? They're not refreshing. They're reforming their personalities. But me, I had a waffle burger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you like that?
Not strictly named. It's a bit inaccurate. 'Cause if something is a burger, I think it's what's in the burger. But you know what I mean, like a hamburger or a beef burger or a veggie burger. But a waffle burger was a burger on a waffle instead of on a cob, as we used to call them.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're right. So, and a waffle is quite a nice thing to eat. A savoury, waffly burger thing.
Is
Yeah.
I'll tell you what struck me as well. Boz has got a little medieval castle at home,
it? Yeah.
and a waffle would make a lovely soft play portcullis.
Yes.
That's lovely.
Yeah, so I might install one of those. Get a box. I believe, if I remember, I think if I'm looking for versatility, I think it's bird's eye potato waffles that I need.
They are waffle.
I believe they are waffly versatile. Yeah.
Well,
Perhaps one of the great advert songs of all time. I
Yeah.
thought.
oh, what about fried onion rings?
Oh,
Oh yes, Will they be? What about that one?
We'll have to wait and see. Come on.
You know the one where the cat goes meow 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 meow, and it does seem to be doing it with its mouth. I don't know how they do it. But it's
It's absolutely
remarkable.
brilliant.
He should have toured that cat. I'm surprised he hasn't done Glastonbury with the way it lapsed into gimmickry.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
When I got up last Sunday morning, for the first time I think I can ever remember, I didn't know anything about the clocks going back.
Oh, really?
And it was a genuine surprise to me. You know, when people miss things so they didn't put the clocks back. I've never done that.
Right.
Something I'm quite, always look out for.
Do you?
And I got up thinking, I woke up a lot earlier than I thought.
It was my stomach. Did you?
I think
no.
it was. Actually, it was my stomach. Don't take credit for
No,
that.
it was-
Come on, we don't want the stomach wars.
I think they both went, and yours lasted longer. Well done.
Or would it be stomach wars?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was. I felt disgruntled about it.
Did it impact on your day? Did you notice? Because your phone changes just naturally now, doesn't it? That's one of the...
Yeah, but I tell you what, I like just that once a year as well. You get the chance. I love going to bed thinking, extra hour tonight. It's a lovely feeling.
I thought it was an
Yeah.
hour less last week. Wasn't it? You got an
As
extra
it goes
hour?
back.
No, we had extra hour, love. Extra hour, love.
Ah, well, now the confusion feels suddenly I'm not the biggest fool on the hour front.
Yeah.
No, it goes back.
Yeah.
And so 2 o'clock becomes 1 o'clock. So, of course, that's an extra hour.
I think I said that, and my wife said no. When our daughter
that's it,
wakes
blame-
up,
blame the wife.
instead of it being 7 in the morning, it'll be 6 in the morning, and so you'll be.
Well, I
awake
wish I'd
then.
known Saturday night because I had quite an indifferent gig at Soho Theatre. And I would have liked to have said to them at the end, look, you are going to get this hour back. I would have felt less guilty. But it was... No, but I once bought my manager an expensive bottle of wine.
Lovely.
So 1961 Chateau Lafite.
Oh.
Did you?
And it's...
Don't like anything with feet in the title that you're meant to
No.
consume.
and it's one of the few occasions... What about pig's feet?
Well, exactly. I'm not going to
Okay.
eat those, am I?
Never had it. Don't like a trotter?
No.
Anyway, I had
I
to
didn't
tell
have you
him.
pegged for a Trotter fan either.
I had to tell him how much I'd paid for it because when you have that drink, that's the thrill, isn't it?
Right.
Knowing and going to bed knowing you've got an extra hour. That's when it's next morning. You've missed that moment.
Yeah.
What was his reaction when you told him how much you paid for it? Was he
was
happy?
absolutely thrilled to bits.
Oh, good.
I think first of all he thought, "Hold on, do I get any of that?" No. But no, it was. I was angry about it.
Chateau
I argued
Lafite.
against it.
Oh,
I argued with my partner. I said, I think you've got this wrong. That was pathetic.
Oh.
But I still did that thing I do every year on
Yeah.
that day. I still said, look at that, dark at 5 o'clock. Oh, yeah, like last year.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us, come on, on 8 12 15. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. You know Twitter, much loved. And email the show via the Absolute Radio
Yes.
website.
We've had quite a middle class IEM, idiotic eureka moment.
Oh, okay.
Hi team, I never realised for years that the word Marmite is the name of a type of French casserole pot. Not only is there a picture of said pot on the label, true
Oh.
that, I've seen that, but also the actual jar resembles a Marmite pot as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know I haven't solved the Enigma machine or anything when I found this out,
No.
but I wonder what other products are also marketed in too highbrow a manner for ordinary people like me to understand. Live the show, Paul Wood.
Oh, I think that's an autocorrect on Love the Show.
I think it was as well, but I wanted to read it out because I enjoyed it.
If it was praise,
Live
we
the
wouldn't
show.
have read it. But I do like the idea that we live the show.
Yeah, maybe live the show.
we
is
do
good.
live the show.
What a life that would be, yeah.
So that's useful
That's
to know.
a great text in, though. Highbrow advertising things that have gone over the people's heads.
I mean, there will be some people that
Well,
don't know HP sources, Houses
Al,
of Parliament, won't
You
there?
took
There
the
will
words
be
right
those.
out of my mouth.
Oh, did I?
And I'm not even meatloaf.
Great minds.
Out of my mouth. Unfortunately, you left the carbohydrates.
You've changed.
Yeah, he's so
You've
too.
so changed.
On the golden... What's that tree called? Golden syrup.
Oh, Lyle's.
Oh, last golden syrup with the
yeah.
the lion. Oh, he likes
There's a
anything
lion.
lion based.
There's a lion, but it says on it,
3 lions.
out of strength comes sweetness or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I think that might be from the Old Testament.
Really?
Is that right?
I mean, how many people are getting that when they're getting... Who buys that? Where's
I'm
it
not. When
Does
I
it still
use-
exist, that
Yeah,
stuff?
definitely.
Yeah, you can buy that. I love
I
syrup.
think it's advertised on the
Love a
television.
syrup.
Yeah,
You love a syrup.
yeah.
We've
was,
also...
Well, a lot of the old.
That was a part of her Bruce Forsyth obituary.
Yeah. We've also had a couple of texts. I wouldn't say full-on correcciones, but they're not either. Sorry to have shocked you earlier with the Post Office / Royal Mail news. They separated in 2012 when Royal Mail went private. That's
Hold
from
it.
Nettie, who...
I like they separated,
Yeah,
like
me
some
too.
messy divorce.
It
What
was.
I'd like to ask Nettie is,
Yeah.
was there not a thing called insignia or
Yes.
something like... Was it
Frank.
insignia or was it something similar?
They
Consignia?
tried to
Oh,
rebrand
yeah.
the post office, and
Or the Royal Mail?
yeah, I do
Who
It's
apologise.
Post Office.
Who
I think.
can
It's Post
say?
Office.
Yeah,
Yeah, and consignia?
I think so.
Monsignor?
Consignia. It sounds like one of those terrible language tapes in the
Monsignor
70s.
Post, it could be called.
Is this
More
an Italian
Monsignor
drama
Post.
on BBC4 that you're talking about?
Monsignor Post. You ever seen that? What's that Italian
sick
film about
yourself.
the postman?
A film about the postman.
Il Postino.
I'm surely.
Il Postino. There
Oh,
you
I
go.
thought it was
Do I
one of
win
those
anything?
Robin Asquith 70s films.
No, not one of
It's
those.
just never happened to a postman.
Confessions of.
Confessions of a postie.
Yes.
I've got
No,
another one that I think I might be injecting a slightly tetchy tone that doesn't exist here, but let's see what you think. Clocks going back does not save you an hour or lose an hour, as when you go to bed that night, it's the opposite. You're still asleep for the same amount of hours. Time is irrelevant. Live your work.
All right,
it doesn't
all
say
right,
live your
Descartes.
work. Yeah.
Time is irrelevant. Quite a
Quite
Yeah,
a heavy
I mean,
concept
statement.
for commercial radio.
Yeah. That's why we don't do time checks on this show. Time is irrelevant. Wow.
Wow.
I'm going to get a T-shirt with that on.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have it spelt THYME. So my basically a sort of anti-herb.
Like rosemary and thyme.
Yeah, like, my theory that the mixed herbs, you could just
Yeah.
have one pot called herbs because every herb tastes basically exactly the same.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that herby taste.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't need all the variety. Just get herbs and then you're sorted. There you go.
Spoken
In other
like
words,
a
time
non-food lover.
is irrelevant. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So Steve Amphlett has tweeted us, Re Lyle's golden syrup.
Oh yes.
The lion is dead and being feasted upon by bees. Keep it light, Lyles. I don't want that on my syrup.
Well, there must always be a sigh of relief when there's a dead lion in the jungle.
That can't be true. I don't think bees eat lions.
No, but that is the
Let me show
That's
you.
the
Literal.
picture. Oh, is it?
I think that's how sweetness comes out of strength or something. Like
Oh, okay.
that. I don't know.
Right.
It's as you say. The whole point is a complicated concept for a golden syrup can.
Yes.
The Marmite thing, I've never heard of a French pot
casserole,
called
yeah.
the Marmite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me neither.
Of course, my Marmite thing, don't you? So I heard David Frost on a satirical TV show did a joke. Marmite, hopeful pa. Do you know
Right. Yeah.
that? Do you get it?
I do get it.
Oh, I
because
think
I've heard
we've
you
discussed
explain
this
it.
before.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Well, I had another Marmite story, then I'll abandon that one.
Oh, don't, Frank. I hate it when
No,
you lose your little confidence.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go repetition.
No, but there'll be others who won't have heard it before. Come
yes,
on.
but can we live our lives for others? So, 8, 12, 15. There was a thing. Do you remember there was a? It's been quite a while ago. There was a Marmite shortage, probably about 15 years ago.
Oh,
right?
yes,
No
I
one
do
could
remember,
get
yeah.
Marmite, and I was doing the chat show that I used to do, and so I did topical comedy. And a joke I was particularly pleased with was to say what they need to do is to get an enormous knife and take it to the factory and just scrape out those bits at the corners. But it strikes me it doesn't really work now because the squeezy Marmite thing has taken
Oh,
over.
yeah.
Nobody puts the knife in Marmite anymore.
No.
No, we still got a glass jar in our house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too, actually.
Well, that's what I love about the North.
Tradition.
They don't go squeezy.
857, clocks going back. I moved to Spain. What a 70s text in, clocks going back.
It is.
Because it affected your life then, because the phones didn't
Yeah.
automatically update. I moved to Spain 25 years ago, and it was 2 weeks before I knew the clocks had changed. I thought the shops had just changed their hours for winter.
25. Well, now I feel better about myself.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. What a blow that must have been.
Yeah.
2 weeks, though. It's sort of dystopian nightmare territory, isn't it?
But time is
Brilliant.
irrelevant.
Time is irrelevant.
Well, exactly.
Let's not forget that.
We've also had a message from 420. Morning, Frank. Just need to drop in that whenever I listen to you now, I think of you as a multi-award-winning radio presenter.
Oh.
Your accent confused me for a few seconds the other week after your award night. I quite like that you're multi rather than multi. That's from
multi as in
Yeah.
Malty.
Horlicks.
Yeah,
Horlicksy.
you're a multi-award winner.
Yeah.
Horlicks.
Now they've got. Are they highbrow? What have they got? Some nice sort of Victorian child, maybe.
I think they've got a quote from Ezra Pound's Cantos
Oh, yeah.
on the front.
That's too highbrow.
No, I don't
for a
think- I don't-
multi-drink.
I wish they were.
Multi-drink, see, it is, once you say it in the right way.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a multi-drink. What would that be? That'd be a night out, I suppose. I might go out for a multi-drink.
Yeah. Or when somebody puts accidentally a little bit of coffee into a cup of tea, you know, or stirs the tea with a coffee spoon.
Oh.
That's a multi-drink, isn't it?
Well, now, I think you have to do one, Emily.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've been talking about time going, the time changes, people missing out on the daylight saving. You missed it last week. Is that what it's called?
Is it daylight
it's not in
saving?
the
Is that what
winter,
it's
is it?
called?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
I think
in
it's
the
called
winter.
Consignia now.
That's right. Yeah. It got rebranded in 2011, I
Yeah,
believe.
consignia.
But I can't believe that we've mentioned it all that time, but we've not mentioned Prue Leith's What a Mistake to Make Her.
Very good.
When,
That was Joe Dolce's follow-up single.
I
love
mean,
it.
she tweeted, I don't know if people, I
Is
mean,
it a
who
mi-
doesn't
could you
know
call
this?
it a Miss Cake?
It was, very
Oh,
good.
come on, Frank.
good.
That's why you get the big
You
bucks.
should really be a headline writer because some of theirs were not great. But she tweeted the winner too early. She
Yeah.
announced it. For the people that don't know, she announced Bake Off, and
She said, what she said was, bravo, Sophie. And I haven't heard bravo since my parents went to see Derek Jacobi at the National in the 70s.
Well, I still,
Excellent. Was a
one
great
still
production.
hears it at the opera, I must say. I
do
always
you?
love
Yeah.
it. People shout it unironically.
Bravo!
Yeah, I do like that.
excellent.
So she tweeted, bravo, Sophie. And she was in Bhutan, I believe.
Yeah.
And
Where is that?
No one goes there.
It's sort
such
of
a weird
near
thing.
Tibet and Nepal.
Oh, is
Foot
it?
of the Himalayas.
Have you ever met anybody who's been to Bhutan?
Is it?
I've been near.
Is it referred to on Ian Dury and the Blockheads? Hit me with my rhythm stick. Hit me with your rhythm stick.
Oh, maybe. 8, 12,
From
15.
the-
From
of,
the-
of Bhutan.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
oh
it is.
yeah, it is. But I know what you mean, Al. It's an unusual destination.
Nobody goes there. I mean, you meet people and they go, oh, yeah, I went to Spain and I didn't know the clocks had changed for 2 weeks. But you don't meet people that go, oh, I went to Bhutan and I accidentally tweeted the winner of Bake Off 6 hours early. Amazing.
But if I'd have had a big national secret on
Yeah.
Sunday morning, I could well have texted it
Blurted it an hour
early
Yeah.
and spilt the beans. So, you know, there, but for the grace of God, go I. That's what
I don't
I'm
think
saying.
you would, though. I think you would have gone on the mobile phone device and you would have probably checked. Like,
Smartphone?
yeah, you would have probably thought, I should really check this before I make any announcements.
I mean, you
wouldn't you?
forget
Well-
that Prue is new. New Prue.
I
She
know.
is.
Yeah, she is.
She, I noticed Paul Hollywood was on Bake Off Extra Slice. I'm a bit strange because I don't watch Bake Off, but I watch Bake Off Extra Slice. I like watching one of those shows,
But without the...
like the Extra Factor, without the commitment to the
Without the
main
heavy
show.
lifting.
Yeah, because you get to know everything without having to commit to an hour and a half, and I don't want to do
It's
that.
like me and Strictly. I like everything except the dancing. I love all the other stuff. It's
Do you
great.
fast forward the dance and just listen to the judges?
No, I watch it live, so I don't have
Tolerate
that
the
option.
dancing.
But I'm looking forward to the judges' comments.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, the VT inserts when people
You
are.
like those?
Yeah, I like them because I think it's good the public are constantly reminded that comedy is not quite as easy as they might think. I come out of it feeling like a giant after I've watched that. Why do they happen? Why do the VT inserts on Strictly even happen?
To kill a bit of time?
But they could kill it with some, you know, but it's valuable.
Paul Hollywood said he was horrified
By what? By
by
Prue
the
Leith?
By
the
Prue's.
indiscretion. Imagine being guilty of an indiscretion. But yeah, he wasn't happy. But then he went on to sort of say, he said, well, look, mistakes happen.
But why didn't she? She could have covered
John
it
Bishop.
up. She could have said. She could have come back and said, sorry, predictive text. I meant brave, Sophie. She did the whole final with an aneurysm, for example.
Frank.
And then she'd have covered it up.
Or then I would have just immediately done the same text but with the other two and kept it a bit
Well, my
mystical.
friend Sophie just tweeted me and said, what channel is Dad's Army on?
Or I would have said bra, Sophie, meaning she was giving her advice or something.
Yeah? Bravissimo.
Yeah.
There's all
Bravissimo. There's
sorts
one in Covent Garden.
There's all sorts of words.
She could have got round.
God.
She could have got. There must be other Sophies on the production. She could have said, I was actually talking to Sophie Ellisberger, the grip, the chief grip.
Chief Grip.
Yeah.
Ellisberger.
Yeah.
Oh, Ellisberger, yeah. She
Don't know her.
it's very popular.
one of my favourite grips.
When the immigrants first arrived in America, that the Ellisberger was a popular foodstuff. They got through that, guys. Whoops, the mics are still on.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.
590, aka Julie, has said, Frank, Al, Lady M, shout bravissimo at the opera. It feels so good, it really does.
I bet it does.
I'll do that next time.
We've also had not quite a correzione, but well, maybe it is.
Oh, hold on. Do you want the jingle?
Yeah, let's.
Correzione,
Ian Jury lyrics: "Deserts of Sudan, not Bhutan." Cheers, Justin.
It was a guess. I think it's
Beckenham.
is it on new boutans and panties?
I don't know what you're saying. What's it?
It was a joke.
Oh.
His album was called New Boots and Panties.
Oh, that was good. I just
Yeah,
didn't
but
know
when
the
you have
name.
to explain, it's like
Oh,
it's
well,
like when
that's
you have to
awful.
say "I love you" first before they say "I love you."
Oh, no.
Oh yeah.
It's worse.
Anyway, I nearly was scuppered by the spoiler that Prue had done, but then
Do you watch Bake Off,
I
Al?
do watch Bake Off. Yes,
Lovely.
I like it. And what happened was the news feed on my phone said Prue has spoiled Bake Off, but thankfully it linked to a broadsheet who
Hang
said
on.
we're choosing not to spoil it. And
Do you get extra slice alerts? Frank gets Who
No, I
alerts.
don't- I
I
don't
get
get-
Shih Tzu alerts. Come on.
I don't get extra slice alerts. I've never watched that, but But actually, I didn't watch the
I
breakup
get shit
final
to
on the
alerts,
night.
but I get less and less as I get older.
But I didn't watch Bake Off final on the actual night. We watched it a day later.
Oh, you did well
At
to get
tea
away
time
with that.
the Well,
Yeah.
here's what happened. We sat down, we said to the kids, you can watch Bake Off before bed. And my son said, I know who won it. They mentioned it at school. And I went, don't tell any of us.
Yeah.
I shouted at him properly, right? He went, okay, I'm not going to tell anyone. It comes on. 5 minutes in, he goes, that's Sophie.
Oh,
Well, at least he didn't say, bravo, Sophie.
He might have.
I wish he had. That would have been a special moment, I would have thought.
Yeah.
I basically, why don't they use my dad's old method? Is when the football results came on the news, he'd put his fingers in his ears and go, just like that until it was. It's actually that note. I'm telling
Really?
you now, it was that note. I've heard it so many times.
But it is effective, that, isn't it? You can properly stop
Yeah, but you
yourself
can't do it with the
hearing.
internet, you see.
No.
That's what's changed.
That's
But,
true.
are they
I
still-
like Prue Leith, though. I felt rather sorry for
I
her.
really liked her.
I like that, and I like that she's not the invisible woman, which happens quite often, let's be honest. And she's an inspiration to me that I'm not going to wear beige when I'm older. I will embrace
Primary.
the primary colour.
Her primary.
Yeah.
I thought she was great on it. And it proves to me that no one's irreplaceable, because people thought, Mary Berry, irreplaceable. But actually, it turns out all you really need to do that job is be a woman of a certain age and quite nice
Yeah.
and be able to eat cake,
The necklaces help, Al.
which I think is going to make
Doesn't
it difficult
sound like much
for
of a
him.
qualification to me.
It's-
People making money out of that now?
well, I don't think
I had to work my guts out to
I
get where
don't
I
think
am.
she's going to get £1 million a season, do
Nice
you? 'Cause
woman and make cake.
when her agent,
That's it.
that's it.
Well, thanks. Thanks for the interview. You got the job. I mean, really? That's celebrity now?
That's it. That's all it took for that
Frank
job.
sounds like Judi Dench outside the Ivy.
I'll
Judi
tell you
Dench
what,
could do it if she was nice.
I feel
She's
like
not
a-
nice enough because she was rude to Frank once.
Right.
I feel like a black cab driver must have felt when having done 3 years doing the knowledge when the sat navs came out.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Much as I love Prue Leith, we were just talking off air about some things. And don't look so panicky. Don't you
Absolutely
both look so
terrified. Is anybody
panicky.
else terrified?
No,
I can't
it
remember
just-
now what we were talking about.
Listen, it just made me think. She used the time difference, Wi-Fi, internet thing. Much as I love her with her zany Corbinista red spectacles, I do think that is not an excuse. Whenever people cite, Wi-Fi problems or I
email
don't believe
problems
that
is
email
such a
problems. Didn't get the email. Time difference.
Does she wear red spectacles, Prue Leith?
Yeah, she does.
I didn't know that.
Of course she does, Frank.
It's not often
good
you
on
see
primary
those,
colours,
usually accompanied by a cat sweatshirt. You know, the Cats, the musical.
I think actually Noel Fielding wears that. And
Yeah, probably.
she wears the red specs.
But what I'm saying here, Frank, sorry, but she shouldn't have made the excuse. I mean, I know there was the time difference, but just apologise. Don't come up with these silly excuses.
Yeah, I don't find it easy to believe that someone that can work Twitter can't work the world news function on their phone. It's too
I can't
it's
work
too
that.
easy to do.
But
It's just
Bhutan.
there. It's just there on clock. You just click on clock and it tells you what the time
You
is.
wait till it happens to you, Alan Cochrane, when the Bhutan's on the other foot. I disapprove of
Time
Great
differences.
British Bake Off. I think we've got a national obesity crisis. We've got a hit show about cake. Is that a good thing?
Good point.
You know what cake does to
a good
people's
point.
lives?
What?
Well, it kills them.
Slowly.
Come on, and what about these people when they have to take the roof off their house and winch them
There
out?
aren't many of those.
There are. It's
I
a
don't think we can blame them on Bake Off.
He's reading the
I do.
tabloids. He's reading his
saw
magazine,
footage.
supermarket mags in America.
I saw footage of a woman being, no, it's a bloke, I think, being took out of a house through his roof on a winch
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
his waste products dripping off him like you took something out of a fondue.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cake. That's what cake does to people.
No, I think it might be some other stuff.
How
to
much
do
cake
with
do you eat?
it. About half
Are
a
you
cake a
turned
day.
into the sort of
No.
sugar police or something?
If you think of
I
one
just-
oven,
look,
about
if-
half of that per day,
if
that's
I-
what I intake.
If I went to the BBC and said I've had an idea for a show, the Great British Roll-Up, in which who can make the best cigarette, and then the judges come round and have a couple of drags off each one. They'd say no, they can't do that because tobacco's really bad for people. Oh, cake's really great for people. We've got a national obesity crisis. Have we got a national bronchitis crisis? I don't think so.
Oh,
Next.
Frank. I just want you to have some pleasures in your life, that's all.
yeah. Don't boycott all fun, Frank.
Yeah.
Look,
You
that's
tell him.
healthy
Yeah,
fun.
boss. You
Dancing.
tell him.
Dancing, that's good for you. That's a good thing to have as a program.
But even that, a minute ago, you said you don't really like the
No,
dancing
but I'm
bit
not
so
trying-
strictly.
But it's harmless.
Oh, touche, Zorro.
It's harmless. You don't have to like. I mean, I'm not a big fan of martial arts, but I approve of you doing them.
Ouchie.
Thanks very much.
Obviously, I think one day
And some days I'm not a big fan of them. But
you're going to lose your temper and kill someone, and then that's the trouble.
I'd be
Once you-
amazed if I could with my abilities on the mats. Frank,
Oh, I
as
don't know.
you
You're
call it.
fast as lightning, as we well know.
I'm not.
You know what Paul Merson said? You keep going to the hairdressers, eventually you're going to have a haircut. Eventually the hairdresser's
Why
going to
is
say, why do you come in here?
Why
Well,
isn't that
do you
on
know-
more pub walls?
Why do you come in here? You take up a seat. What do you want from me?
I love living my life by his rules as well.
Yeah.
Well, great player.
He was.
Very good
Sophie as
football.
well.
Yeah.
Sophie.
Sophie's like super fit. Track
Is she?
cyclist.
Careful.
Yeah, she
Oh,
does
okay.
boot camp.
Does she?
All
she
that.
was in the
She's
army.
ex-military, I know
So
that.
she can handle
Yeah.
a bit of cake. She'll burn that off in an afternoon.
She said she put on a lot of weight during Bake
I
Off.
don't believe it.
I
for a
wonder
second.
how much she can handle the tabloids now exposing every single moment of her life up to the moment
know.
she won Bake Off. I wonder if that's fun. I
Yeah.
doubt it.
I
Must
said,
just want-
she'll get over it. It'll be all right.
The cookbook will be out soon enough.
Horrible.
Oh yeah, the cookbook. That'll be out there.
Yeah.
But one of the criticisms of this series of Bake Off was that it's got too much product placement because it's moved to Channel 4. So there's like certain fridges in that you can see the brand, and there's
They
like
don't
certain blenders.
They don't
I
use
think-
it though, Aldo. They don't say, I'll just open the Siemens oven.
It's all that sort of thing.
No,
I
I'm
think,
glad they don't
I
do
think
that.
we'll smell a rat next year if we see that Prue Leith is wearing a Casio World Time wristwatch all the way through it. I think
Yeah.
that's... I'm
Well, Al,
onto them.
you make a good point. She could do a Gareth Southgate.
Oh,
Older readers will know what I'm referring to.
yeah.
I'll
And
do an
do an
advert
ad.
about the
Pizza Hut.
mistake.
Alluding to her terrible mistake.
Yeah, own it.
Was it? I mean, I don't watch Bake Off. Was it a real? I mean, did it spoil your day?
Well, I only watch Extra Slice, so I don't know.
So yeah,
We're the
so
worst
it's
two people to ask. I managed to... how many people have said, oh, it's like that episode of The Likely Lads? Do you think that's happened?
I said it was like that episode of Seinfeld.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know what episode it would be, but I just want to join in with.
And
the
I just
herd.
mentioned Curb, yeah.
I want to run in with the herd. Oh, you know, one of that episode of The Simpsons where Homer has the answer to an enormous popular game show and tells people because he's in Idaho and it's a different. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Good
that's
one.
what I said. That was my reference.
Yeah.
One of my faves.
Who?
That episode.
Oh, okay, sorry. Even Homer nods.
Oh, lovely.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215 if you please. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the radio and email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Almost not audible that you were eating that. You almost
thought-
hid it.
I hid that pretty well, I thought.
Very
Also,
good.
I would like to nominate If You Please for Whatever Happened To. It's really not a phrase you hear that often these days, and I
No.
quite enjoyed that, Frank.
That is
Thank
true.
you.
And we've actually had a couple of texts that I'd like to bring to your attention, Frank. They're,
Attenzione.
Attenzione.
they're actually about your musical tastes.
Oh, yeah.
Believe
Yeah.
it or don't. Here's the first one from
You know what they say, sweetness comes from strength?
Yes.
Where the hell did you pull that out from?
This one's from reader 005. Sir Nelia Spy.
Cornelius Spy. Is that his name?
Oh, that's my accent,
Cornelius.
isn't it?
Cornelius would be a good name unless you
He
got
was-
knighted as Spiley.
He's one of the Planet of the Apes, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is.
Funnily enough,
one of the planets of the apes. It's some sort of satellite.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure he wore a suede waistcoat / tabard.
This person signs their text as Brother Gorilla.
Brother Gorilla.
Well, dear Frank and Emily and Alan, having heard Frank mention Jake Thackeray on many occasions, I
yes.
decided to look him up on the internet and find out who this chap was. And then we get along. Who knew?
Fabulous.
He's just marvellous and is now firmly planted in my favourites camp. Many, many thanks for introduction.
Brilliant.
Sorry, I know this text has no relevance to today's show. Brother Gorilla.
A reference to...
Indeed.
That, I tell you what I like about that.
Yeah.
Do tell.
My partner is one of her enthusiasms.
My partner, David Furnish.
It's yes, the producer, David Furnish. My partner, Catherine Mason, is a very big fan of matchmaking,
Oh, yeah.
and I always think it's a dangerous
Yeah, you've got to be
Very
so
much so.
careful.
business. Whereas this is what my form makes me happy,
Yeah.
and that is introducing someone to some sort of music or something like that,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
a book or whatever. It makes me feel I'm thrilled to discover Jake. It's a bit special, I tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, Sister Josephine.
You do a good impression of him too, I'll give you that.
Oh, many hours of listening. Brilliant.
We've got another musical Frank Skinner.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not, they're like buses, aren't they? Two
They
come
are.
along at once. You spoke last week.
I thought you
about-
meant they smelt of urine.
You spoke last week about Hall and Oates, which reminded me.
Yes.
The first time I heard anything by them was in a hi-fi section of a department store.
Can we have a moment's silence for hi-fi section?
Yeah, love it.
Again, not something you hear often.
Lovely.
I asked the salesman who it was, to which he replied in a black country accent, All and Oates, which I interpreted as
Very good,
all
Al.
the notes.
Yeah, very good.
I subsequently wasted my time searching in HMV between ABBA and Aztec Camera for anything by this elusive non-existent band, presumably All the Nuts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was.
That's from Bob. by
I
the way,
met
in
someone who
Birmingham.
was on their way to Tiswas once, and Tiswas
Brilliant story.
filmed in Birmingham, and they stopped at this garage and said to this bloke, "How do I get to the Tiswas studios?" He said, "What you want to do, mate? He says, go straight up there, but you can't."
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had a text in. Golden syrup, which we were talking about earlier in the show, if you recall.
Texture like wine.
Yeah. Well, if any students are listening,
Yeah.
we were talking about the labelling on golden syrup, Lars golden syrup earlier, and there's a lion being what appears to be devoured by a swarm of bees. And
God, that caught me on the hop. That I was just not expecting.
It frightened you a bit.
I didn't think a lion had got into the studio. I was
No.
just surprised to hear the
Wow.
sound.
It made me feel very nostalgic for my holiday with the world's strongest men. Golden syrup, the reference is Samson's riddle. He killed a lion, and he liked it. And later, when he passed it, there were bees producing honey in the carcass. Check out new Samson movie coming soon.
Oh, a good, nice. A plug-a-looia, as the Reverend Billy would say. Oh, I will.
Hallelujah for the movie.
I will check out the new Sanson movie. It sounds good.
Sounds up your street.
Yeah.
I like the idea of finding
Especially
a
if it's
hook.
about Kenny Sansom, the former Arsenal
Oh,
England
I love
left
Kenny
back.
Sampson.
Good
Great
footballer.
tash and great
Good
tash.
footballer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a good touch,
yeah.
you're right.
From strength comes sweetness.
That's what they said about that tash.
I do.
Yeah. We've got a bit more fake news actually to deal with. I don't know if you've seen the story this week that the world's most expensive shot of whiskey, which was apparently 139 years old and was sold to a Chinese millionaire for £7,900.
This is not even a bottle. It's
That's a
it
shot.
was
It's
one
a
shot,
shot. Yeah.
and it went to Zhang Wei.
And it turned out to be fake Donald Trump style. Fake.
Fake booze.
Check your booze. Yeah. It's fake booze.
Yeah.
He's a teetotaler, isn't he?
And,
the
he
old
is.
DT.
Yeah. Which is
Ironically
amazing.
called the DT.
Something else I've got in common with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth just taking a moment to think that man tweets as he does without the aid of alcohol.
Completely
just
sober.
Take that moment. I mean,
He eats a
imagine
lot of golden syrup.
if
In fact,
he had...
he's got a golden syrup.
Trebon. So, we're going to go on to this fake
I need more time for that gag.
Yeah, it does. It's worth having a look.
It was a
isn't
good one,
good
wasn't
gag.
it?
Good gag.
I
Good
re-
gag.
I really like that, Frank.
Oh, thank you so
But
much.
what you haven't got, you see, is a replacement for the "some of them will fall on stony
Oh, yeah.
ground." What do you do when something lands well? We need to come up with something for
just
that.
like
What about...
Nice. I was thinking more of one of those arrow sound effects, like it's hit the bullseye.
Oh,
you know,
that'd
that
be good, wouldn't it?
Or Bullseye, Billy's special
kind of thing.
prize.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of Robin Hood with Richard Green, used to start off, he'd go... You do...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robin Hood, Robin Hood,
riding through the glen. We
Yes,
could
exactly.
go on.
Great middle eight. He
Yes.
called a band of outlaws to a tavern on the green. They swore to help the people of the king.
Yeah.
They,
He came to
Challenge
Sherwood
all-
Forest with a feather in his cap.
but they challenged all injustice on the English country scene, but still had plenty of time to sing. I love that.
Oh.
I love
That's
that one.
injustice sorted for another day. Anyway. Be my love, my darling saviour. Go on, Robinson. Go on, Robinson. No, Robinson.
Bravissimo.
Oh, okay. Oh, what fun they must have had. Mary, apparently. Says on the posters.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So we were talking about this fake drink, the shot of whiskey. It wasn't a fake drink. I think a fake
It
drink.
was a drink.
Well, it wasn't worth the £9,900 that he paid for the shot.
Oh, that is incredible. I mean, even... How old did he think it was? 139 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
And it was from the 70s, is that right?
They'd be surprised if it was before the 70s.
Still
I think
quite
they said.
old. How old
Yeah.
is whiskey?
A lot
Well,
of whiskey.
this
How old
is
is
a-
whiskey? 8, 12, 15.
1878, he thought.
That reminds me of...
Lot
there's a talking... Alan Bennett talking heads about his mother.
Yes.
And he said... she said... how old was Churchill? I said, when?
Apparently, whiskey isn't the most faked drink in the world. Apparently,
What
the
is-
most fake is a wine called Chateau Neuf de Feet. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, awkward.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
all right, because he wouldn't know. I think as long as you don't
He
know.
wouldn't care.
I mean, you got to say of Zhang Wei.
Yeah.
Zhang Wei.
Zhang Wei. Zhang Wei.
Yeah.
He still had the pleasure of drinking a 139-year-old whiskey. Because,
And he got his money
because
back.
he didn't know.
Yes.
Did he get all his money back, or did they keep the price?
Did they take the
Like
minus
£3.
I hope they did.
minus £8.70?
Minus what you would have paid for a glass of whiskey, £3.80. So there you go.
My
It's a Swiss
favourite.
hotel, so it would have been quite expensive anyway,
I
presumably.
love a Swiss hotel.
Do you?
Can I say my favourite thing about Zhang Wei is he's a martial arts fantasy writer.
He's what?
He's a martial arts fantasy
I'm in.
writer. I mean, come on, Cock. That's a lovely friend for you.
That would be a good friend for
Don't
me.
you think? And they've got the Scottish. They can bond over the Scottish thing, the whiskey
You
connection.
could maybe write me to be better at the martial arts. That would. I need
Can I
someone
tell you
to.
something? Having read
What?
that he was a martial arts fantasy writer, I thought that sounds all right.
Yeah.
So I went to my Kindle
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
You got
and
some.
You didn't download Zhang Wei.
400-page book, 99p.
Did you download
Cheaper
it?
than the whiskey.
It is. It is.
So it's a book called The Ancient Ship that he wrote. It's probably not ancient. It's probably 19. But 400 pages, so 99p. It's about 0.2 0.25 of a penny per page. So I don't judge a book by its cover. I judge it by its price per page.
Yeah.
I didn't even make the penny. It's one of the worst things.
Is it?
I mean, it might be that the translation's bad.
It could be.
It was like
Probably
someone.
just been fed into a translation app, hasn't it?
It was like they were taking dictation from a sat nav.
Oh,
So it's all, we went, when you get all that scene setting, we went through Gizu province and Zizu province and then Bocheng country. All right.
do you think at the end it just says
Where's
you
the
have reached?
ship?
Do you think at the end
He wanted the longboat.
it might
It's
just
like-
say at the end you have reached your destination?
I don't
instead
know.
of
It was
the
like,
end?
I didn't get any further.
Oh, that's a shame.
It was awful.
Little
It was-
tone I noticed creeping into the Cockerel's voice. A little bit supportive for Zhang Wei there.
Yeah.
As a
Look,
fellow martial arts.
God, look, I'm saying, I'm giving you the
terrible,
benefit
though.
of the doubt. Could be a bad translation. But,
Yeah.
unreadable. That's what we need. This is the
I don't think
sort
he's
of.
going to put that on the poster. do
This
you?
is
Unreadable Frank Skinner. Next to very cruel,
You could
unknown
put it
English
next.
woman.
You could put it on the Chinese, the original Chinese version. Unreadable Frank Skinner. A bit up and down, Frank Skinner. I suppose from left to right. No,
Very good.
you know that Richard and Judy used to have that book club where they recommended
yeah.
books. We
Oh,
could do
yes.
an alternative.
Books to avoid.
Yeah. the dark side of reading, in which we talked about books that we'd read, and there was one on
Didn't really like.
I read one on I was on a plane. I'll tell you after.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
One of the things I like, but is somebody blowing over the top of a milk bottle?
There's some works going
Oh, I
on
can hear.
in Golden Square.
Okay,
It's a Halloween thing, I think.
There's a lion being devoured by bees.
Oh, not what again? So if you've got doubts about the authenticity of your vintage whiskey,
Yeah.
the company you contact are called Rare Whiskey 101.
Oh,
I thought, I'm glad I don't host that panel show. That would be a dull night, wouldn't it? Oh, welcome to Rare Whiskey 101.
somebody's going, it's malty, this
Yeah,
one.
this
isn't it?
yeah,
I'm getting
multi.
Who would you have as your-
drink?
Multi
Oh, I didn't do my
award-winning.
multi. Oh no, now I've really set myself up. I don't have anything. Multi poo, that's a lovely dog.
Oh,
Maltese poodle
I
cross.
wonder what you're talking about.
Yeah, multi poo.
Oh, can you stop saying it, please?
Don't you think it's true, though, that when he had the drink, he thought he was drinking a vintage whiskey, so he sort of did have his money's worth?
Yeah, like Emperor's New Clothes, but then
Well,
later on he
that's-
looked a fool.
Again, an interesting philosophical
Is it a modern
question.
day
It is.
parable? Is that
It's
what's
like,
happened?
do you remember there's something about Miriam?
No.
It's a reality show when it was.
Yes.
There was a pre-op transsexual, and
We didn't know.
all the men didn't know. The men all thought it was this gorgeous woman.
Right.
Yeah.
And this bloke had kissed her and been very delighted. And then when he found out,
Yeah.
he got very, the way, macho men do.
Right.
I kissed a man and it's on telly.
Yeah.
I think was his single.
Yeah, I think so.
And he got furious. He's going to beat up the producer and all
Oh,
that.
that's not
but
nice,
but
is it?
but when he did the kiss,
He was, as
Yeah.
far as he
Yeah,
knew.
exactly.
it is. It's,
Weren't complaining then.
anyway, I was on a plane.
Very esoteric text in this.
It is. I don't think it should be a texting. When what happened to Miriam? 8:12:50.
Yeah.
I was. When you buy a book in an airport.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Normally with a samurai sword on the cover, I find.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I
Yeah.
particularly
Martial arts
like
fantasy.
is Aeroplane Edition. That one. When it's like a hardback book,
yes.
but it's not a hardback.
I don't know that.
Have you not
Yeah,
seen
talking
Aeroplane
about-
Edition?
So books that are only available in hardback, you can go to an airport bookshop and you can get the paper. Still big as a hardback, but paperback, because
What?
They
I
should
think-
just call it airplane mode, Frank.
I think the theory is that you could hijack an aeroplane with a hardback book.
Right, if you're a black belt in origami.
Yeah, well, you could put the corner in, say, the stewardess's eye, and if
Yeah.
they shot a harpoon, I think they have a harpoon, don't they, for unruly passengers?
Yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
hold up the book and Whereas anyway. So I bought this
Paperback,
book. It's called Anam Cara, and it was about Celtic spirituality, which I'm very interested in.
Strange choice.
So I started reading it
Not for Frank,
started reading it on the plane.
Yeah. Where were
And
you
now
going?
here's the thing. Now here's that. Because I said out loud a phrase I'd forgotten existed. I actually said claptrap. I hadn't heard it for years. I don't know. It came from the very depths of me. Like when when you're sick for a long time, and the last bit of it is that really bitter yellow stuff that's been there since the 80s.
Yes. Claptrap.
The word
I just said
claptrap.
claptrap, and I did perhaps the worst thing you can do for a book, because people talk about the bargain bin and all that, but what I actually put it in was the elasticated netting on the back, and I left it there.
Oof.
It was
Behind the mesh.
It was there. It was next to a sick bag and a discarded
and
mini pretzel.
and maybe a
packet.
well-thumbed magazine on the duty-free fare available.
But I left it there for someone
Did you?
else who might possibly. Yeah, I didn't want it. I didn't even want it in my. I sort of covered it up. I didn't even want to see it again.
What didn't you like about it? Was it irreligious?
No, it was just
Claptrap.
That's what it was. Claptrap. I mean, let me. If John, what was it? John O'Donoghue is listening. In respect, you wrote a book.
Oh my
But,
God, he's named him.
It's,
This has happened.
I know it says on the front international bestseller, so I'm the odd man out in this. But heroin is an international bestseller.
Oh my God.
Do I want it? No, thank you, Mother.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Sorry, I don't want to be distracted, but I'm seeing a potential traffic violation out the window.
Oh, yeah?
I'm the motoring correspondent on
You
this
don't
show.
want to
so
abseil your way into a citizen's arrest.
I don't want to.
He's like the parking superhero.
I am a bit. Hey,
What,
I've got
Reginald
something.
Mole husband?
I've
There used to be a
Don't get
bloke who
that.
did. There's an advert about how to
yeah.
park that used to be on the telly.
oh yeah.
And it was called The Day Reginald Mole Husband Got It Right. And this bloke, who, like myself, found parking a mysterious science, finally worked it out.
Oh, we should
I
bring
watched that advert 1,000 times and learnt nothing.
We should bring it back though. Some people could do with it out there. I've been puzzling over something that someone said to me for a week and a half now, and I'd like to workshop it with my radio colleagues.
Sure.
Last week I was in a little. I was on a Lincolnshire mini break. Me and my family went on a dog walk. So we've
Lovely.
got
It's
Cockerel,
another
Mrs. Cockerel.
American film mogul, isn't it?
What?
Lincolnshire Mini Break the Third.
So if you picture the scene, we've got me, Cockerel, Mrs. Cockerel, and
The Whippet.
the two Cockerel Juniors, and the Whippet, Lucky Cockerel,
Yeah.
as we call her. And we went on this, nature walk that happened to go through a golf course. So the pathway was going through a golf
dear.
course.
Yes, always unnerving.
Yeah.
Don't really like golf, but there was
Well,
some.
I think it's golf players I have a problem with.
Well, one of them, a man, I would say in his 60s, possibly, I don't know, maybe a
Doesn't
bit
make
younger.
him a bad person.
No, it doesn't. But we approached, and I think we looked like a sort of a picture postcard family because we've
Yeah.
got the Whippet, the two children.
Did you have a flat cap on?
I did have a
Peaky
flat cap
Blinders?
on.
I knew
Yeah,
you
yeah.
would.
So we're walking, and the man said, when somebody says something to you in the tone of banter, and you sort of go, ha ha, because it's obviously meant in a jovial way. I wrote it down straight away. Here's what he said. He sort of pointed expansively at our lot, and he said to me, "You got 10 million quid there, and that's without the wife."
Okay.
But it had the sing-song tone of,
Yeah.
hey, I've got a bonhomie, I'm being friendly.
yeah.
10 million quid there, and that's without the wife. Does he mean what they were going to cost
What they were
you?
going to cost you for the rest of their lives.
Well, but, I mean...
What does
That's
it
what
eat?
I think, hence without the wife. And her shoe habit.
I mean, if I-
You know
Yeah.
what ladies are like.
If I'd known that he was saying they're going to cost that much, I would have said, well, in that case, we'll have the dog put down and I'll probably send the children to state school because there's absolutely no way that they're
That's
going to
what
cost
he
me
meant.
10 million
Did he
quid.
mean he couldn't have arrived at
I'm only
10
one
million
part on a
quid? Who was
Saturday
it?
radio show.
Was it Zhang Wei?
Exactly. I wish I'd known about Zhang Wei.
I mean,
then.
Zhang Wei and his extravagant lifestyle.
What
We don't
you-
all live like you.
You need to phone Nuclear Family 101 and see what the cost or the real
Yeah.
cost is.
Or was he breaking it down like, per person? Like my daughter 4 million,
Or-
my son 4
Hey,
million,
hey,
the
listen
Whippet
up.
2 million.
Not going to
What?
spend that much.
What if he was saying you've got something priceless, worth more than 10 million quid?
I think that might have
What
been
if
his
it was a
vibe.
lovely thing? I know it's less funny for the radio, but I think that could be a nice thing.
And do you think him saying without the wife was him being
yeah.
like the slightly golfer misogyny of I'm not factoring her in?
She's the
'Cause
maraschino cherry.
She's worthless.
Was it a specialist human traffickers tournament that day? They have a little convention and a golf day. Put some back in.
They weren't carrying their own bags now, you mentioned it.
No, well,
And he
there you go.
literally-
They had
He
about
was
300 people
giving
carrying
you
their bags. I thought
a
it was an
very-
unusual caddy system.
Something's gone on
He
there.
thought it was being helpful. It was a very quick. He was giving you a quote essentially, wasn't he, on what he would pay for you.
Exactly. But
I
even
wish
that
I'd
can't be
known
right.
that.
'Cause he wouldn't pay that kind of money, would he?
I wish I'd known that.
Well,
I'd
that
have got
whip-
rid of the whole lot and just got a new family this week.
Yeah.
Well, he probably had one with him.
All right, you can have these. I'll have a
But
cheaper
what
lot.
did he mean, though? What did
Oh,
he mean,
man,
that
it's
man?
plagued me. I think I've thought about it perhaps about 18 hours of every day since then.
Yeah.
Conservative
Well, I'm not
estimate.
going to stop thinking about it now.
Got 10 million quid there. And
And that's without the wife.
That's
So
without
that's
the
without
wife.
the wife that becomes complex.
Or is he saying, look, this is a treasured image that you've got here,
Yeah.
but you need to lose the wife?
No, I don't
Get
think.
rid of the
I
wife.
don't think he's saying
No, because
that.
that would have been, but that's without
I mean,
the wife.
he was playing golf. He might be a quite bitter divorcee. I don't know.
well, that
But
well,
also, but that's without the wife has got that thing about, I went to the Labour Party conference, it was all beards and roll-up cigarettes, and that was just
That-
for women.
yeah.
Is that
Right,
one of the, it's
yeah,
got
yeah.
that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
template
Yeah,
to
it
it.
had the song.
come on, lads. We know what ladies are
Tune
like
of Bants.
watching their soaps. It's got that flavour to it.
What I
puzzle.
think he's done, he's got the template of that gag, and he's just crammed any words in he can.
Yeah.
So the form is there, but it doesn't make any sense. It's like
I'll tell you how I responded. I went, and then walked on and said to my wife, "What does that mean?" And since then, we've been puzzling it every
No.
day.
Well, I arrived at Elstree Studios to be greeted by Sarah, who works on this show, who also works on Room 101. There was a sign there that says, "Don't forget to show your pass," and a drawing of a man with a lasso. And I've been thinking about it for 3 weeks. And I'm a pun, I think of myself as something of a pun. What do you mean by that? Why the lasso?
Otherwise,
Yeah.
they're going to catch you and
Yeah.
rope you off.
Really?
Cowboy style.
Seems unlikely. At Elstree Studios.
I wasn't happy with it, I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to ask them. They look like Western types. The men on the gate have both got those droopy moustaches.
Oh,
Oh, have they?
I imagine, they use the
Do they-
word amigo casually. So I didn't ask them in case, they just put lassos
And
on everything.
A bootlace tie, Frank.
Yeah, well, they really have got that. Yeah, what you looking for, stranger? You got your pet. Maybe they're going to cut me off at the pass. Thank you so much for listening. It's been a pleasure as ever, and bring on the feathers.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.